is better.
2021, baby. Well, that was fun.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew, pew. All right, now we're live on the Twitch, and we're ready to do a podcast. And let me get my notes up over here.
You got like mood light.
Who, me? Or Johnson? I feel like Johnson's got that like
Johnson does have a little
orange
bit
glow.
I'm afraid my garage, like, why is my garage band not keeping time with my...
I have an orange pixel on Johnson.
I always have the Bambino
I got one
in the background.
You do, and a picture of yourself,
That's right.
and a picture of yourself showing off the real tight on the high and tight.
Tight fade.
The
Yeah,
real tight.
That was a tight fade.
That was a
That was a
tight
tight
one.
fade.
That was her first cut. That was her first ever cut.
Oh, that was Dubs' first ever cut.
Yeah, we got it. We got it memorialized.
You do
In
have
that photo.
That's kind of hilarious.
In a frame, it's kind of hilarious.
I bet she doesn't even know that. I mean, I know she knows that it's in the frame and she saw the picture, but I bet she doesn't realize that that's from the first cut.
What did she think when she saw that?
She thought it was ridiculous.
Okay, as did my wife when I showed her.
She was 100% behind, like, leading me into it. Like, I
What did
I was like,
she
why are the
think
people acting
when
so
you-
weird?
What did she think when you, like, we were trying to get you to notice it and you refused to notice it?
I was like,
I can't believe
Sloan
you
thought it
didn't
was
know that.
hilarious.
I was
Sloan's like, how does he not get it? I was
I
like, what are you talking?
totally landed that. Like Johnson was so impressed by me
Oh,
getting you in that
I was
room.
like, perfect. That's
like,
perfect. And
what's-
then you went in there and completely didn't notice
missed it.
anything.
Missed it.
I
by a
mean,
mile.
what is written there is 100% true.
This is very true. All right.
All right. I think I'm okay.
You're okay? We
It's
don't need to
recording.
clap again? You're good?
No, I think it's okay. We're recording.
Okay. Let's do a show. Let me just get my pen so I can write my note down that I have to write, which is when we start. Okay, here we go.
I'm excited for Can't Believe My Ears.
Okay, good. All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Got Your Ears On. Guido here along with Scoot
Baller!
and Johnson.
I feel like there is good and bad this week. Guido.
There is good and bad, but I'm going to start it off, guys. I haven't even told you guys this. I'm going to start it off with some amazing good news. Some good, got your ears on, amazing good news. As you all know, especially our listeners who have been awesome about this, we have been selling, I'm wearing one right now if you're watching online on Twitch or YouTube, pullover guy shirts. It's a shirt of some coach with his arms out, wearing a pullover. And $5 for every shirt that we have sold goes to the Bob Huggins Fish Fry and the Norma Ray Huggins Foundation. We've been raising money for about 2 weeks, some help from Holly Rowe, which was awesome. And we set ourselves a goal, guys, of raising $500 to donate. We hit that goal. We've sold over 100 shirts. We've raised $500. We've actually raised $525 as we are recording right now.
Wow. I'm so pumped. That's awesome. I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, $500 to the Bob
Last
Huggins
count I
Fish
had,
Fry.
we were like 300 something.
Yeah,
That's
see?
impressive.
Well, we were around 350, which I was feeling good about, but that's amazing.
Yeah. We started off, we thought we were going to donate $10, guys. And now we're at 500.
And the 10 was coming from both of us.
Yeah, right.
Johnson wasn't even going to get a shirt.
Those were the shirts that Scoot and I ordered. So no,
Johnson was like, "We'll see how this goes. Maybe I'll buy one."
I could put it on right. I don't have it on right now, but I have it.
It's so awesome. I can't believe that we've been able to raise so much money. So we've sold over 100 shirts. We're still selling. You've got 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks, week and a half left to buy the shirt, the Pullover Guy t-shirt. Thanks to all of our listeners.
Could we get to 750?
I don't know. That
would be
boatload
amazing.
more shirts.
I'm
we gotta sell.
already stoked about 500, Scoot. So yeah, I mean that would be
I know. I'm just saying. Let's raise the bar now.
Let's do it. Let's
keep going.
Go to our website, gotyourearson.com. There's a button right there on the front of the website. Just click on it. It takes you right to the merch section. You can get yourself.
Takes you directly to Pullover Guy. Yes.
Yep. You can get a sweatshirt. You can get a t-shirt. There's some other items in there.
Gray,
yeah.
multiple colors.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. Pullover Guy shirt. I'm so happy that we've raised $500 for this. It's been awesome.
I'm so glad. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's a great start to the show, Guido.
See,
nicely done.
I told you I had something great to talk about, and
And now he wants to go to the loss.
No, we'll talk Texas Tech first. Let's talk Texas Tech first, guys.
Yeah, let's talk that first,
and then we'll go. It was a nice, very nice, happy win over Texas Tech. I felt like looked pretty dominant most of that game.
Happy for us, maybe not so much for Chris Beard.
You want to start with Chris Beard? The very end of the game, Chris Beard threw himself a little temper tantrum, which was amazing, just amazing.
He kind of reminded me of that minor league baseball manager who at one point was army crawling and picking up the rosin bag and tossed it like a grenade, if you recall.
I remember that.
I kind of had that feel to it. I thought, what is he going to do next?
Well, I thought going to the floor was the extra bit of flair I was not expecting.
No.
How about that?
I don't think he would have gotten tossed.
Yeah, right. I mean, arguing the call, I get it. I mean, look, there were like 47 fouls in this game. I mean, I think at different points of the game, Hugs and Chris Beard were like, what? And so I think that was the final straw. I totally get it. But I think when he just like fell down to sit and add the extra dramatics about to the ref, that's what I was not expecting.
And here's the thing about it. So on top of everything else, he was actually pretty correct in that. I mean, I think that, it made a difference for us. It was definitely a one possession game at that point. And I think he was kind of in the right for throwing that tantrum.
Probably should have gotten the timeout called.
Yes.
It was after he called for a timeout that the guy reached in.
Yeah.
And got the foul called on.
No, I agree. Yeah.
And it was Mac McClung, wasn't it?
I don't think it was McClung.
No, it was. I can't remember his name, but it wasn't McClung.
McClung was out. So
McClung had been fouled
Edwards.
out.
It might have been Edwards.
Prior to that.
Yeah, I can't remember, but then I think what the icing on top of the cake of the whole thing was then like mid yelling at the officials, he walks over and gives Huggins a fist pound. After he gets tossed, he gets yanked. He walks over to Huggins, gives him a little fist bump, and then he walks his way out. It was just
John Boy did a great analysis of the fist bump, where it was perfectly
perfectly aligned.
Yeah, vertical north south on the knuckles.
Yeah,
which is kind of rare in the heat of the moment like that.
Well, I put the John Boy breakdown in the notes. It's a good watch if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, and if you don't follow John Boy on Twitter, you got to follow him at John Boy _.
Highly recommended.
We're baseball guys. He's a big baseball guy, and there's a lot of baseball stuff on there. But he also does other sports, and he does these breakdowns, and it was awesome.
Like all John Boy followers to follow Got Your Ears On.
Yeah, right. Get them to buy some Pullover Guy t-shirts.
So.
Aside from the Chris Beard craziness, again, you have to talk about Sean McNeil just going on a tear, career high, 26 points. And I felt like it was one of these games where, I know he was 8 for 11, but it felt like he was hitting every single shot he was throwing up.
Johnson, who was the last shooter for WVU that you can remember that you felt as confident as you do when Sean McNeil is shooting? Is there a guy that comes to mind?
Yeah, there is, and you're going to be like, who? Guido he'll be able to talk to me about this, but the person that honestly comes to mind is like when I go back and I think about the way I felt when Chris Leonard played for WVU in what was that, Guido? Maybe early 90s.
Yeah, it had to be early 90s.
Scale Catlett team. Yeah,
maybe
he was more
pre Solheim, but yeah.
Yeah, like a spot up shooter, something like 90% free throw shooter, I think at the time. It's probably someone like that. I think if I had to peg someone more recent, man, I'm not really sure. Maybe like a Pat Beeline, like Pat Beeline kind of comes to mind because for me,
I think Alex Ruoff.
Yeah, I could see
I could see somebody like that. Yeah.
But I think actually, I'll be honest, I think I've got a little bit more faith right now in Sean McNeil's shot than I did in Ruoff's. Like McNeil, there are times where he is in Saberton and flips his wrist and it goes in, and I'm like, holy, and he's got somebody in his eye.
Well, it feels like, and it feels like every time he pulls up for a three, he's like, I don't know, 5 feet behind the line. Like, I feel like he is like purposefully taking these NBA depth 3-point shots all the time.
Well, there's probably some recency bias, Scoot, but I think maybe the only thing when I think of Al Ruoff, I don't think of hot streaks as long, and I don't think of like streaks, what am I trying to say? Like sometimes I think with McNeil, people give him too hard of a time because he'll have games where he's just not, it happens, you're not on.
Right.
He keeps shooting, which he needs to do. I mean, if you're the shooter, you got to keep getting it up, but he'll maybe be like 0 for 6 or something. I don't remember Al Ruoff taking the volume, but also just being a little bit more consistent. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I'll say this, knock on wood, hope it doesn't change, but think of all the shots that Sean McNeil has taken. If I took that many shots, I don't know, let's say he's taken 50 3-pointers so far. I would venture to guess I'm going to have something like, I don't know, 20 air balls out of my 50
Yeah.
shots, he doesn't usually have an air ball. He usually gets part of the rim.
No, and to your point, he's especially in these like last two games, I feel like he's had, you can say the shot's contested, and then you can say like a dude has his elbow in his face and he's still knocking down shots. So I don't know how he doesn't need much room, and he's got a quick trigger.
Here's the question for you guys. All right, this season so far, all right, he leads the team in 3-point attempts. All right, that's kind of obvious. Sean McNeil. This season so far, how many 3-pointers do you think he shot this season? How many attempts? Scoot? What's your guess?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say close to 80.
Okay, Scoot says 80. Johnson, what's your guess?
Yeah, I mean the mid 60s is what popped into my head. I'll say like 65.
He is 45 for 116 right now this season.
Holy moly.
116 3-point attempts right now, shooting 38%, 116. So like he said,
believe this or not, I was trying to use math. I was trying to use some math to try to figure it out. I was like 4 shots, maybe he gets 4 3-pointers that he takes a game on average.
Well, and I was thinking that I guess my mind went like there's been some games where Taz Sherman has been more involved, like sometimes he'll rotate out more with Taz, and so I was thinking maybe that would eat into his attempts, but holy, that was double my thought.
Yeah, Taz's second was 79 attempts, so you go from 79 to 116.
That's a lot too. Yeah,
I mean, and Taz is shooting 39% at 3, and Miles has got 74 attempts, and he's shooting 44%. So I mean, it's crazy. 116. I mean, every time he's touching the ball, he's shooting 3-pointers.
Sean McNeil is starting to develop. Now Deuce right now, nobody can rival Deuce in clutch shooting, but Sean McNeil late in the shot clock, he's not a bad option. Like, I mean, that shot he had from like the WVU medicine logo, the guy in his face, and he flipped it with his wrist and it went in. I was like, with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, I was like, good Lord. He's also one of those guys where you're like, no, don't do. Okay, we'll take it. He's got a little bit of a Jimmer Fredette, like cross half court.
Fearless.
I like how you keep doing the Jimmer Fredette. I mean, Jimmer Fredette's still playing professional basketball. Do you know that? He's in like China playing, I think.
Yeah, because he could fill it up.
The Shanghai,
that guy was a freak shooter.
He's playing for the Shanghai Sharks, I think in China. So, going back to the Texas Tech game, you saw all of a sudden, I think maybe McNeil has awoken. I mean, because he just was on fire that game. He plays great. We'll talk about it here in a second. Another great game against Oklahoma. Deuce has 20. Culver has 15. I think most importantly in this game for me, even though it kind of was a little back and forth, I think the defense looked way better and is starting to look way better. And I feel like they're finally starting to get, a system together on the defensive side of the ball. They held McClung, and you talk about Mac McClung. They held him to 17 points, which is below his like average that he has right now. So I feel like the defense is finally turning a corner.
Well, and in Lubbock, I think McClung had 31?
Yeah.
Something like that. He had a huge game. And I think so for defense, once again in the Texas Tech game, Gabe Osaboyan was picked as the defensive player of the game. And I say again, because I feel like every week Gabe is named the defensive player of the game. He had a great game. And I think, Scoot, we talked about, I don't know if you remember now, because we've had, so much angst since midday Saturday, but in the Texas Tech game, Jordan McCabe, I thought, played a really good game. He had super quality minutes.
He, I think, is starting to maybe understand his role a little bit. And I feel like, for me, and this is just me, I feel like he's starting to kind of take on, hopefully, a calming veteran presence where he's not trying to force everything. And he can be the guy that gives Deuce a break from handling the ball, gives Taz a break, gives Emmett a break from handling the ball. Offensively, I feel better with him than I do Kedrian Johnson. So, I think he's got a better on-court relationship with Derek Culver and McNeil and Matthews. I think he's roommates actually with McNeil and Matthews. So I think a lot of that does translate on the court as well. So I do feel good about that. Going back to Gabe real quick, how odd is it if you're somebody from the outside, not a WVU fan, and somebody were to ask you, who would you say overall is probably your best defensive player for WVU? And you say Gabe Osaboyan, who probably averages, what's he average, like 6 or 7 rebounds a game?
Yeah, probably less.
If he does he average 2 points a game, maybe 4 at most?
Maybe.
And we're gonna say he's the best. He doesn't block shots.
So Gabe Osaboyan right now is averaging 1.8 points a game, not even 2 points a game. And honestly, he's only on the rebound side of things. He's down to 2 rebounds a game. So he's but how have you, like you were gonna say, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Scoop, but like you were gonna say, like I've never seen a player, at least at WVU, who has had so much impact that doesn't show up in a box score. That like
it's hard to quantify.
Yeah. This is a kid
people would think you're crazy not to say Derek Culver. Derek Culver's a double guy. Like,
right.
You got a guy that leads the conference in rebounds. He's top 4 or something in the country in like offensive rebound. He's a freak. But we say Gabe Osaboyan, so like it's just crazy. People assume. I was just gonna say people assume maybe steals, like Javon Carter was a great defender, so we're gonna look at the steals category. Well, Deuce leads WVU in steals, but we don't. I mean, I can't remember the last time I said Deuce was the defensive player of the game.
Right.
Yeah,
no, and it's crazy. You're
I just think it's consistent too.
I appreciate the dramatic pause.
Well, I think when I think about Gabe though, and you haven't even gotten to that part yet, is the charges that he takes, just the way he hounds the ball. We used to joke. I mean, it seems like every time down the court, Gabe's taking a charge. So people get aggravated by that. Ball handlers don't want to be a part of that. I mean, he really kind of gets stops when no one else wants to get in there.
You call him the Telly Savalas of basketball, college basketball, taking his Diners Club card with him everywhere he goes, taking the charge.
Together. I like it.
Right.
Who loves you, baby?
So Guido, one thing that I wanted to mention specifically though, because I'm one that harps on it, right? I'm one that harps on our road performance, okay? And a lot of times on the show, I'll say, when we look at the schedule, sometimes I'll say, well, let's get the home wins because it's so hard for us to win on the road. I really need to stop saying that now. I think earlier in the year, I was kind of conditioned to just have that in the back of my mind. Did you know that was the 4th road win of the year? We had 2 the 2 years prior combined.
Right.
That's kind of crazy when you think about it.
It's nuts. It's definitely
and then
crazy.
That was the first road win against a top 10 team since 2016 when we went to Charlottesville and beat Virginia. So I also saw a tweet, and I linked to it in the show notes, that's the first time ever since we've joined the conference in the Big 12 that we've won 4 consecutive on the road. So to me, that's a huge deal for this team. We haven't really, we've given them, or at least I've given them a lot of headache about the road performances, and I think now we really need to give them some credit for and because these are no slouches. It's not like you're going on the road in this conference and winning against poor teams. So I'm
going to say this
though, really good wins.
Looking at that, for me, this year, unlike any other year, I don't want to say that there is no advantage to being at home. But the advantage is way less.
Yeah.
Because of the fans.
Right.
Because
no, that's a good point. Yeah.
We played Saturday at home in double overtime, and occasionally, I think I can count like maybe 2 or 3 times, I could hear a little bit of fan noise, mostly because it looked as though the coaching staff was trying to whoop up the crowd in a frenzy.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, I think the people that were there were loud. But when you have how many people were there, Guido? Like 2,500, something like that.
Yeah.
In a place that holds 14,000, that is, minimal. So I think that the home and road is going to be really weird this year if you look at every school across the country.
No, I agree with you, Scoot. I think the one thing that, and to Johnson's point a little bit, that West Virginia has more than any other team in the Big 12 is just the amount of travel that they have to do. And I mean, Huggins has said it multiple times in post-game interviews with Tony Caridi and his show during the week and his weekly press conferences, which is there's no team that travels as much in the conference. And, they play a game at, 9:00 at night in Lubbock and then have to get on a flight, and they don't get back till 4 or 5 in the morning. And the other teams in the conference don't have those things. They all have, puddle jumper 1 hour, 2 hour flights. We've got 3, 4, or 5 hour flights back from some of these locations.
Yes.
All right.
The defense rests.
The defense
I guess
rests.
is what Scoot's saying.
Yes.
But I think it was great to have a nice road win at Texas Tech, and I think for the first time came into Saturday's game against Oklahoma, and I was like, we got this. Like, I just felt like I woke up Saturday morning. It was game day. I was watching college basketball game day. Everybody on the dais picked WVU to beat Oklahoma. I was like, it's on ESPN Plus. There's going to be 10 people watching it. Like
Fonz was all over.
I was like, we got this. And then we didn't got it. And what was bad about it is we had it. And then we lost it. And it goes back. And this is the most frustrating thing about this game, Johnson, for me, is I go back to the box score. I go back to looking at highlights and watching it. We played better than Oklahoma. We won that game with the exception of the fact that we could not hit foul shots again. And when you're shooting...
Well, you're going to be mad at me.
You're shooting 50%.
You're going to be mad at me.
Go ahead.
No, I know, and you're right. You're right. But WVU Twitter lit up with this. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine because some people that I usually talk about with games, they quickly go to this stat, and so everyone lit up Twitter like 10's bigger than 1. We missed 10 foul shots. We lost by 1 point, and I just kept thinking, thank you, Pythagoras, for that in-depth analysis of how math works and okay, but if you look a little bit deeper, and feel free to argue with me on this, but I guess my point is, if you look at those 10 misses, I think DC had 4 of them. I think Gabe had 2. Yep. That's like, so 60% of those misses are from the 2 guys that I kind of expect to miss foul shots.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I just expect that. So I would argue, Scoot, that more than worrying about the foul shooting, and look, it sucks. You're right. Okay, we did lose by 1. We missed 10 foul shots. I know how math works, and 10 is in fact greater than 1, and blah, 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 right? I get it. But
right.
I was more worried about, like, if you don't, to me, I'm still concerned in this game about guys getting to the rim really easy, it felt like. And then this whole thing, it felt like Texas again, where a guy drives and dumps. A guy drives and he just finds a guy that got lost on the perimeter. He drives and he just dishes it, wings it out somewhere, and there's a guy open at the 3-point line. So, to me, that's what bothered me more about this game than any stat about foul shooting, to be honest.
So our help defense is okay. It's not great. Our help defense is okay. The big problem we have is our rotations, right? So when a guy drives down the lane, he's defended, and a lot of times he's calling for help because the guy is about to blow past him. So somebody leaves their man and comes over to fill that space. Well, that guy that's driving is now kicking to that guy that just got left.
Yeah.
And that guy's floating out to the 3-point line a lot of times. And I don't know if now, well, I'm sure I would venture to guess that as all college coaches and all college teams study film, they probably know exactly who's going to bite and who's not going to bite. And they're eating that person or those people alive. And that's an issue. Now, for me, my biggest problem that we had in that game alone is with about 4 minutes left in regulation, Oklahoma had 3 guys with 4 fouls.
Yeah.
2 of them are probably the guys that they want with the ball at the end of the
Right.
game, Manic and Reeves.
Right.
Reeves was eating us alive.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, maybe it was said in a timeout. I mean, we used every timeout we had. I feel like we were constantly calling timeout. Somebody's got to go right at Reeves or go right at Manic. Whether you draw a charge or not, I mean, that may be, but you got to at least force them to do something. And we didn't really do that. And if we foul Reeves out with 4 minutes left in the game, maybe we're not even going to overtime. If we fail Manic out, they have that quaff.
Yeah. Right.
He's not Manic. He's more of a defensive player. I don't know that he brings much offense. So I don't know. For me, that was a missed opportunity because we did get Harkless. I keep thinking of Mo Harkless, but that's not the same guy. That's a guy that played for St. John's. And then I think the NBA. I think he went to the NBA. But this was another Harkless. Maybe not related. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
But he did foul out. But we didn't seize the opportunity to go after that Larry Bird wannabe, that Nate Adrian, hey, I think he looks cool, so I'm going to start wearing a headband and grow a beard. Like, can Brady Manic just be himself? Can he just be himself?
Yeah, I mean,
why has he got to try to be everybody else?
He's got
your point about Reeves is really good because he finished with 28. He murdered us the whole game, even into the overtimes. So yeah, the fact it was maddening that they couldn't get one of those other two guys to foul out.
I mean, it was forever.
I think
what did we go? 10 minutes or 14 minutes really plus.
Yeah. And you got to also remember, I mean, there's, the other kind of issues that I guess foul shots weren't the only problem. I mean, the other issue also was the fact that we were 1 for 9 with 3-pointers in the first half. I think there were obviously a lot of issues, and it's just this. I got to tell you, it's Oklahoma, man. Like Oklahoma is it's just brutal. Like we can't beat them in football, we can't beat them in basketball. Now they've won the last 4 games in basketball. It's just like. Can they make us hate Oklahoma any more than we already do?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And I think, having a little bit of time to step back and kind of think about this game a little bit more, for whatever reason, it feels like Oklahoma is one of the worst matchups for us in basketball for this team because of the stuff that, I feel like I brought up and Scoot just talked about. It's like they have these tendencies in their game with these guys that they have in the lineup that it like picks apart at some of the tendencies we have to work on defense. So I don't know. I mean, look, it was a great game. Obviously 2 evenly matched teams. It just stinks to not had we won that game, I feel like the momentum just starts to soar. That's the frustrating part.
It stings a little bit that with under 10 seconds, we had multiple opportunities to get a decent look. And to be honest with you, we had Derek Culver had 3 shot attempts in the last 3 seconds. And I believe Hugs even said at the post game that they tell him all the time, 3 seconds is a long time. You don't have to rush. And he's kind of insinuating that Derek was kind of rushing those shots because he was off balance. He was falling over instead of catching and going straight up and in or trying to dunk, draw a foul. I mean, I know he's at times a rough foul shooter, but maybe you get at least a guaranteed look at the basket and a shot.
Right. So, I think the other thing that we shouldn't go, there were good and bad with this game. I think the one thing that we shouldn't go without saying is that the last minute of regulation, Gabe Osaboyan, I know we've already talked about him once, but Gabe Osaboyan really just owned the last 60 seconds of that game. Being down there, the rebounds, the fighting for the ball, even though that one got called after he missed his free throw and then almost got his own rebound and he was called out of bounds and they had to go, can we talk about going to the monitor enough the last minute of a game, by the way? And,
yeah. Did we do that enough? Holy cow.
Can we not just go based on what the referee called?
Right.
I hate that. When it's a dead ball, they always rush over to the monitor. Listen, guys are going to make mistakes.
That's
We
part of the
move on.
game.
It gives them something. Yeah.
20 years ago, we never got that. 25 years ago, we never saw. Back in my day, we never had replay. But Gabe Osaboyan just was awesome that last minute, especially, them holding Culver out for most of that. I think, and then I think what adds to the frustration of the loss is the fact that now that both of these Baylor games are canceled for this week, and so we're not playing anybody until we play Texas next Saturday or this coming Saturday. So I think it's a total just compounding frustration that you have.
Yeah, I get that. And two, Scoot, if I told you that win by Oklahoma gives them the season sweep in basketball in back-to-back seasons,
Well,
what would you say?
No disrespect to Lon Kruger, but he makes me want to puke. So it makes me want to puke. I mean, maybe he's a great coach. I don't know. But
Well, doesn't it just surprise you though that of all the teams we face in conference, I just wouldn't pick Oklahoma's basketball team to be that team to do that. But hey, I mean, it's about matchups. It's about how the game goes when you get on the court. So, but it just to me, to Guido's point, it's like, what is the deal with this school? Like, why can't we beat these guys? It makes no sense to me.
Right.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room?
What's the elephant in the room?
It's Jamie Dixon. Jamie Dixon and his so-called strange amphibians are hiding. They're scared of us. Why won't they play us? Why haven't we played them?
They don't want any part of that.
They don't want
what are they afraid of?
Well, we got them. I mean, they're coming up, Scoot. I mean, are you
We got one game with them because the other one for some reason has been canceled, and it's like they don't want to reschedule.
Well, and that's where I was going to go with this whole Baylor thing. So obviously we said Baylor had COVID and is now canceled, which is ridiculous. But now we've got
Scott Drew.
We've got four games that we need to make up, and I can't imagine. And they said. I did hear or read somewhere that they were going to try to maybe make one happen this week, but then they couldn't make one happen this week for West Virginia.
Listen, I think it's collusion.
And now you've got a less than 10-day stretch between the last game of the season, which is very soon on the 27th against K-State in Morgantown, and then March 10th, which is when the Big 12 championship starts. You've got this like 10-day stretch, less, give or take. Where are we going to make up these 4 games? How does this affect, seeding going into the Big 12, seeding going into March Madness?
Listen, it is collusion. And here's my point. Shaka Smart, that's who we play next, right?
Right.
He's probably told these guys, listen, I want WVU to kind of be a little rusty the next time we play them. So don't you dare try to make up a game in that 10-day block of time or 7-day block of time. So Shaka Smart, Scott Drew, and Jamie Dixon. And you know what? I'll throw Mike Boynton in there as well. Those guys are trying to collude against Bob Huggins.
Well, and I mean, I guess... I mean, you can conspiracy theory all you want, Scoot. I don't know if it's anywhere near accurate. I do think it just puts West Virginia. I think right now, or at least from my perspective, we're really fighting for maybe a 3 seed, possibly even a 2 seed in March Madness. And I think missing these 2 Baylor games, coming in cold, against Texas next week, going to Texas and coming in cold against them, next week. Granted, Texas does have 2 games before. They have a Tuesday and a Thursday game. So Texas is going to have a lot, but we're going to come in cold, into Austin. And now we're in a position where I think it's going to be hard for us to hold that 3, maybe even drop to a 4 seed. And, and that just affects everything down the line.
Well, I'll take talking about 2, 3, and 4 seeds any day of the week.
True.
Over what was it, 2 years ago, where we weren't even in the big dance.
That's true.
So that's fine. I'll take it.
All right.
If the last time we had a team go to the NCAA tournament. We had Issa Ahmad and Wesley Harris leading our squad. I'll gladly take this team any day of the week over that group. So let's not get too worried about dropping seeds. Sounded kind of, that's a weird phrase to say. Dropping seeds like we're some sort of farmer.
Yeah, like
Yeah, like Johnny Appleseed. So let's not worry about dropping seeds. Let's just kind of enjoy the run. This is a good team to watch. They're making basketball fun to watch, and I know it's not a typical Bob Huggins defensive team, but I'll be honest, and we've talked about this before. Defensive basketball games, not all that fun to watch a lot of times. It's a lot of start and stop, a lot of fouls, a lot of
winning's fun to watch. Scoot.
It's frustrating.
Winning is fun to watch.
Yeah, and we're doing it.
Yeah,
we're doing it, and we're scoring baskets like crazy.
So West Virginia.
Wait until we start. Listen, now is the time that Tutors needs to get on the ball and buy the naming rights to that biscuit basket.
Where are you, Tutors? It's going to get away from you.
It is.
I mean, it's right there.
This is your chance.
I mean, we're aiming
Call
for
Shane
it.
Lyons.
Got your ears on Arena.
Scoot.
So West Virginia travels.
Are we in on that?
Yeah, I don't think we can sell enough T-shirts for that. Got your ears on. Got your ears on Arena.
Gonna need a few more T-shirts for that, Steve.
West Virginia travels
after February 26th.
West Virginia travels to Austin on Saturday. That game's on ABC, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, guys. So we'll see what happens. Only 3. I mean, officially, there's only 3 games left in the season, right? 3 scheduled games right now. You got Texas, you got TCU following Tuesday, the 23rd, and you got K-State in Morgantown on the 27th. So it's we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm sure they're going to add games that following week. It's just a matter of, I don't think they can add 4 games that week. I don't know how they would do that. So
I don't want.
Yeah, I think that's the point, Guido. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, sure, you can add some games. Can you add 4? I doubt you can add 4. That was gonna be my comment. So
I don't want you to add 4.
Right? Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know who that benefits. So
so talking about some other WVU stuff, guys. West Virginia women's still on fire, still playing really good, and we've got a Naismith Player of the Year watch list nominee in Gungrasnik. So she's again still averaging, what was it, Johnson, like 20 some odd points a game and playing great.
Yeah, it's huge. Like her average is insane, and I think the gut punch here is they had won 11 in a row until they also got upset by Oklahoma on Saturday.
Both of those in the Coliseum. That was tough.
Sooners, Scoot. These Sooners. What is with these people?
The only bad thing that's happened to Oklahoma in the last 2 years is that stupid wagon went off the rails.
Well, and that was against us. Do you think there's some curse of the schooner or something? Like, what is going on?
Curse of the Sooner. In other basketball news, guys, Deshaun Butler is going to try his hand at coaching as he's hired as an assistant basketball coach at Wheeling University. So congrats to him and joining the coaching realm.
Can I just ask a question though? We don't call it Wheeling Jesuit University anymore?
Not anymore. The Jesuits have moved on.
The Jesuits have left the building.
They have left the building, and it's just Wheeling University.
I'm just going to be honest. I didn't know that. Like when I first saw the news, I was like, oh, wait
Wheeling,
a minute.
What Wheeling University?
Yeah, like what? Like, is that not the one I know?
Wheeling, Iowa University? Is that where he's going?
Right.
2 years ago, they ran into some financial issues. And the Jesuits said, "Listen, we're packing up and we're out of here."
Gotcha.
They actually cut a bunch of. I think they were down to 7 or 8 majors.
Yeah,
and a lot of them were in the medical or science field. And now, within the last year or so, they've kind of restructured themselves and they're starting to build back up. So that's why you're seeing, actually. Prior to this year, the head coach at Wheeling University was Bo Ryan's son. I think his name is Will.
Yeah.
So
really?
Bo Ryan from Wisconsin. Yeah. So he was there for a year and then has moved on. And I think he's at Wisconsin Green Bay, actually.
Well, it just caught my attention. I honestly just didn't know that, so I just brought
Yeah.
that up for. Thank you for catching me up.
So
Thanks
now
for the
Chris Richardson
clarification.
is the head coach at Wheeling University, and they've brought on Deshaun, which is kind of an odd hire mid-season. You don't usually see that, but they have brought him on, and my guess is this is a good opportunity for him to kind of get some experience. I don't want to call it a stepping stone, but in all likelihood, it's a stepping stone for Deshaun. And then I would expect him to bounce to a Division I school, possibly WVU's bench at some point. So it'll be interesting to see what his career does.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
Well, I mean, for him, I super cool.
It's not uncommon for Huggins to hire former players as grad assistants or assistant coaches. So it's definitely a possibility. Guys, moving on to a little bit of football talk before we take a break here. We just should announce Alex Sinkfield has landed somewhere. He did hit the transfer portal. And he's going to Boston College, which is, for me, it's first of all, I didn't know people transferred to Boston College. Let's first talk about that. And it's just an interesting, going to the ACC, transferring to Boston College for Alex Sinkfield. With
he's
2
from
years
Florida,
of
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any Boston or Mass ties there.
I can't imagine
Like, does he realize it's cold?
Very. It's very
like for me, and again, I'm not everybody. Like, if I'm thinking if I could do it all over again, I would go somewhere semi-tropical,
right
near a beach.
Well, and you listen,
maybe that's where he's from, and he wants something totally different. I guess maybe.
I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm the same way, Scoot. It's like, well, I'm my chances of playing, at least in the NFL, I'm probably not going to. So let's go somewhere where it's going to be fun. I don't think BC is going to be
fun.
Like,
I'd love to have practice when it's 40 and raining.
Right, exactly.
In November. That sounds great.
Drayshawn Miller hits the transfer portal. That's a big loss, Johnson.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest loss of portal season. Is it portal season?
Portal season.
I'm going to call it portal season.
Know. It feels weird.
But I think so. Just my personal thought, Guido. I'm kind of waiting on the announcement that he has landed at Georgia. Aren't you? I mean, that's kind of what my expectation is. Just I feel like when you see somebody like that and their position coach just left,
right?
We've heard the guys before talk about position coaches in particular having special relationships with their guys. I think Jamila Dye is someone that could, be that sort of person and make that type of impression. This is just purely my speculation, but I'll be the least shocked in the world if we find that he has landed at Georgia.
And I think he's from Georgia.
Is he really? Okay.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then one final.
But I think, that stinks just simply because he was such an impactful starter. I mean, we were already kind of counting the number of starters coming back on this defense. He was a big part of that. So yeah, that one kind of hurts.
And then one final note that I thought was interesting. So Coach Brown came out this week and just sort of clarified, I guess, in a press conference, his defensive staff. And he announced Jordan Leslie as defensive coordinator. And then our new hire, which is, remind me his name, Johnson.
Shadon Brown.
Shadon Brown. Our new hire, Shadon Brown, as co-defensive coordinator. So, but he specifically said Jordan Leslie was the defensive coordinator. So, I just thought it was an interesting way, and he actually in the press release said, "I'm pleased to announce the defensive staff assignments, including Jordan Leslie as coordinator." So it just sounds very much like it's going to be more Jordan's call.
Yeah, I took this to mean, Guido, that Coach Brown had listened to last show. He heard Scoot say, what's Jordan Leslie got to do to be the defensive coordinator around here? And he probably noodled on that a little bit over the week. And then we saw this little announcement. So good job, Scoot.
Good job, Scooty.
You're welcome, Jordan.
There you go.
I will gladly take the agent fee.
Yeah, right. agent fee.
Now, hey, real quick before we go on, Guido and Johnson, I was doing a little research because we just talked about Drayshawn Miller.
Okay.
He is from Marietta, Georgia.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, though, he played JUCO football in Arizona. He happened to, though, he committed to LSU before he actually committed to WVU.
Oh, interesting.
So that may be another wrinkle. Maybe he thinks maybe I should have gone to LSU, and who knows? Maybe Big Ed has talked him into recommitting to LSU. But I imagine we're going to see him maybe SEC bound since he's got those Southern ties.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably. All right, guys. Well, listen, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back with the #1 game show on a West Virginia University sports podcast. It's a little game we like to call Bluff the Fluff. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Got Your Ears On. Let me do this.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4
It wouldn't
that's-
matter anyway.
That's
to
true.
be honest.
But
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and
back on Twitch.
I want to make that a screen name.
Office
I want to
Bono.
make that a screen name. Office
at
Bono.
Office Bono. And it's just pictures of you.
At Office Bono.
All right.
Why did Bono wear this?
You're probably
The
tired of
blue
looking
light.
at the monitors.
Yeah, the blue light.
He was tired of the monitor. Surely, at the end of this shows, his eyes were killing him.
All right, you guys ready? Segment 2. Segment
Oh, God,
dose.
Office Bono.
Office Bono.
Hey, get him back on,
I
Bono.
put
don't
him
want
back
to do
on.
Office.
Office Bono. Blue light.
This street has a
bloody
name,
blue
buddy.
Light.
And it's Office Bono.
Hello, hello, hola. Wearing my blue light blockers.
All right, here we go. Segment 2. Ready? You guys can hear this okay?
I want a podcast.
You hear the buzzer?
Yes.
All right, here we go. All right, everybody, welcome back to Got Your Ears On, Guido, along with Scoot and Johnson. Don't forget, you can find us on the social media. Look for us on Instagram and Twitter at Got Your Ears. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search Got Your Ears On. Guys, Johnson has closed the gap. Scoot, you still lead 3-2, but Johnson won last week talking about the movie Hoosiers and trivia there about it. Are you a little nervous, Scoot?
Yes.
Do you feel like you should be nervous, Scooty?
No, nervous? No.
No.
Never nervous.
Never
you kidding
nervous. Johnson,
No.
are you feeling confident? Are you feeling confident now, Johnson? You've won like 2 in a row now, Solheim trivia and Hoosiers.
I feel like I feel like I'm back in it now. I feel like I've got my feet under me. I'm feeling okay now.
Good. All right. Well, listen, this week, I hate to tell you, I feel like if I asked the both of you that Scooty has more experience in this topic, but I could be wrong.
Uh-oh.
Coming up this week
Oh, yeah.
on Friday, it is International Tug of War Day, celebrating the art of the sport of tug of war. So today, we're doing nothing but questions about tug of war, the history, the topic of tug of war.
Is there such a thing as the history of tug of war?
Oh, you'll be
Little known
surprised.
fact, Scoot. There is a supplement to the original famous book called Sun Tzu's Art of Tug of War that you were not aware of.
I was not aware of that. However, Johnson, I will tell you this. You want to throw your fact out? I'm going to throw this out. You're talking to the 2-time faculty champion in tug of war.
Oh, no.
And one of those years, I was the anchor man.
So you're like a veritable tug of warrior, is what you're
If
telling
you will.
me.
If you will. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy. Well, here we go, guys. Questions about tug of war. As always, a correct answer is worth 5 points. A steal is worth 10 points. And final bluff is worth 25 points. If you were watching on Twitch, you would have saw this. But before we started, we had a complete and total random flip of the coin. Flipped it right up in the air. Somebody won. Somebody didn't win. And Johnson, you get to go first this week. Are you excited? Back in
All right.
that first question.
Feels like old times.
Feels like old times.
Yeah, feels like old times.
All right, here we go. First question is to you, Johnson. Tug of war was an Olympic sport from 1900 to 1920. What country holds the Olympic record for medals in tug of war? Is it the United States, Sweden, Great Britain, or the Netherlands?
Ooh, this is intriguing. Let me hear those first 2 choices again.
The United States, Sweden, Great Britain, or the Netherlands?
I feel like this is something, Scoot, that Great Britain would take pride in and be good at. I'm going to go with Great Britain.
That's a correct answer. Great Britain is the correct answer, Johnson, for 5 points.
You thought I was going to go Dutch, didn't you?
I did. I thought you were going to go Dutch.
Nice. All right. So
It was a good way to throw to pull somebody into a polder.
All right, Johnson
if you will.
Johnson takes the lead, 5-0 over you, Scoot. And this next question is back to you. When was the last time that the Let me try that again. When was the last time that the USA won the international championship for tug of war at the World Outdoor Champions? Was it 1978, 1983, 2001, or 2018?
Well, back in the steroid era of the tug of war championships, little do you know that we were juiced up in 83.
I'm sorry. That is incorrect.
Good grief, that's a long delay. You built my hopes up.
Johnson.
I thought we were trying to find the studio audience to clap for me. I thought there was a fire alarm or something. They were ushered out.
Johnson, back to you for the steal, for 10 points in the steal. Was it 1978, 2001, or 2018?
I'm going to go 78. Ooh.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It's not. It was 2001. We won the championship back in 2001 the last time. So it's been 20 years.
Wow.
It's been 20 years, but yeah. So no points on that one. We still have a 5-0 lead. Johnson over Scooty. And Johnson, this next question is back to you. What country has a 4,000-year-old records that depict tug of war and may be the country that is the origin of the sport? Is it China, Egypt, Germany, or Mongolia?
Ooh, that last one you threw in there is a little bit of a Guido special curveball, I feel like.
Very well known for their rope making.
Right? 4,000 years old, though. I'm going to go Egypt.
That's correct. Egypt is the right answer for 5 points. Johnson, that gets you to 10 points. Yeah, there are, old hieroglyphics, I guess, of people pulling on ropes. I'm guessing.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, Scooty. So you're down, Scoot. You need to get some right answers. It would help you out if you did that.
Well, if I got some layups like Johnson's getting.
What?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Here we go, Scoot. This next question's back to you. In 1904, the United States won gold at the Olympics in tug of war. What city's athletic
You
club?
said 04? Aught 4?
Aught 4. What city's athletic club was the team that represented the U.S. in those Olympic Games? Was it Chicago, Milwaukee, St. Louis, or New York?
Well, it's a good question. 04. Same year as the World's Fair, am I not right? World's Fair, 04?
I have no idea.
I think yes. I'm going to say, I think it was in Chicago. I'm going to go Chicago.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It is not Chicago. Johnson, back to you. Is it Milwaukee, St. Louis, or New York City?
For some reason, Guido, Milwaukee is talking to me. I feel like this is something they helped perfect in Milwaukee.
That's a correct answer. Milwaukee Athletic Club was the team that represented the U.S. in the 1904 Olympics and won gold. So good job, Johnson. And you now have a very sturdy lead over Scoot, 20 to
Do you think
nothing.
when they won gold, they had the guy slide down like the Pilsner slide like the Brewers do after
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like that.
That'd be
Bernie,
awesome.
like Bernie the
You just made that up. Is his name Bernie?
His name is
It
Bernie
is.
the Brewer. It is 100% Bernie the Brewer. Yeah.
I did not know that.
All right, so back to you, Johnson, here, this next question. An official tug of war rope is how long? Is it 33 feet, 12 feet, 10 feet, or 88 feet? I'm sorry, let me do that again. An official tug of war rope is how long? Is it 33 feet, 12 feet, 110 feet, or 88 feet?
Wow, this is tough. Well, the first one I kind of thought made sense to accommodate the teams on each side, Guido. I'm going to go 33 feet.
I'm sorry.
Ooh.
That's incorrect. Scooty, is it 12 feet, 110 feet, or 88 feet?
Well, 12 feet is way too short. I'm going to go 88 feet.
I'm sorry, that is also incorrect. The right answer is 110 feet. 110 feet is an official tug of war rope.
That's ridiculous.
That's a long rope.
Like, you
Yeah,
could be
why?
like another town.
Right.
What are you pulling on? Some characters from the next town over.
You're like, oh, a mile back. There's someone watching if we're winning this tug of war or not.
All right, nobody gets a correct answer there. So we're still at 20-0. Johnson, you were in the lead. Scoot, you have not gotten a point yet. But this next question is back to you. What is the name of the international governing body that regulates the sport of tug of war? Is it the Guild of International Tuggers, GIT, Tug of War International Federation, Tug of War International... Sorry, let me try it again. Is it GIT, Guild of International Tuggers, TWIF, the Tug of War International Federation, TWAG, the Tug of War Association Guild, or FITWIC, the the Federation of International Tug of War Countries?
Wow.
I want to hear, Scoot, the process of elimination.
Yeah, you have to really
on
work this one out.
Git, I don't think is it because it sounds too much like Larry the Cable Guy. I think Fitwick is too long. I'm going to go with TWIF. I'm going to go with TWIF. The whatever, that World of International Tuggers or whatever.
Yeah, Tug of War International Federation, TWIF, is the governing body that regulates the tug of war. I was really hoping you'd go with the Guild of International Tuggers. I thought that was a good one.
I like that one. I'm not gonna lie, I like that one. That would have been my guess.
Git. All right. Well, congratulations, Scoot.
Doesn't it make you picture like Wizard of Oz?
Well,
like we are the Tugger Guild or something like that.
Listen, when you think of guilds, right?
Yeah, which I often do.
Two things that come to mind. Either the Munchkins,
right?
Or acting. A bunch of actors.
Oh, like SAG or something.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't put tugging of war in that same ballpark.
War tugging.
Yeah. Yes. Not war. I guess Munchkins and actors kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. I mean, in some situations.
Maybe.
I'm sure some of the Munchkins were actors.
All right. So anyway, so you got 5 points there, Scoot. So you're only down by 15 now. Johnson still has the lead, 20-5. And as we go into Final Bluff, which is worth 25 points, we always have you guys buzz in. So what's your buzzer this week, Scooty?
TWIF.
And Johnson, what do you have for a buzzer this week?
Get.
All right. So get. All right. So here we go. Final Bluff worth 25 points. In the 1908 Olympics, Team USA logged an official complaint against the Great Britain team that won gold because Great Britain used tar on their hands. They showed up drunk to the event. They had police boots with spikes on them that they were wearing. All of the team members weighed over 300 pounds.
TWIF.
All right, Scoot, in first. What do you have?
Well, back in 08, it was very common for policemen to have spikes on their boots. So boot spikes.
That's correct. Scoot, 25 points, get you to 30 and the win. Nice. What a comeback right there. Scoot comes back on you, Johnson.
This must be what it feels like. This must be what it feels like to answer way more questions and still lose, like Scoot does sometimes, because that's very frustrating.
So, would you say that I just pulled you past the mark?
Yes, you just tugged the war, so to speak.
Nice.
You just won the tug of war.
Felt good.
Congratulations, Scooty. That win puts you put you up 2 games over Johnson. You now lead 4 games to 2.
2020, a lot of pandemic talk back in 2020. Like, I was a little out of it. 2021, this is like vintage me. Like, I'm back to normal. I've been vaccinated. I'm ready to go.
He's blaming the COVID for the reason that he didn't win Bluff the Fluffs last season.
Yes, I've been vaccinated. I'm
Scoot,
clean.
dare we say you're vaccinated?
Yes. 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 I am vaccinated.
You're vaccinated.
That's right. It also makes me feel like we're talking about my back, and that makes me feel uncomfortable.
All right. Well, congratulations, Scoot, on the win right there. You now have a 4-2 game lead. And as always, you know, we don't know what can happen. We don't know what the questions are about every week. So pretty impressive, your tug of war knowledge there.
Well, I'm full of it.
All right. Well, listen, guys, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back with a segment where we let Scooty tug on the internet a little bit. It's a little segment we like to call, I Can't Believe My Ears. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Got Your Ears On.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and
Good.
You got a good one? All right, here we go. All right. How's wait.
Yes.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and
screen. All right, here we go. Heading back. All right, everybody, welcome back to Got Your Ears On. Guido here along with Scoot and Johnson. Don't forget, you can get a Pullover Guy t-shirt on our website. Go to gotyourearson.com. There's a link right there. You click on it. It takes you right to the Pullover Guy t-shirt. Gotyourearson.com, Johnson. You can get that and a lot more.
Yeah, that's right. And so the links are directly on the site. If you click on the Pullover Guy link, it'll take you directly to where you can make a choice and order. So check that out. We're going to be doing that, Guido, all the way through the 26th, right?
That's correct.
So you still have plenty of time. If you can, please check that out. Again, those $5 donations are going to a great cause. You can also look at the latest episode in the blog post for this week. We'll put up all the notes that we've taken on what we talked about, probably even some stuff we didn't talk about. You can find it all there. You can also listen to the show directly on the site with the tune in link in the sidebar. So check it all out.
Definitely check it out. GotYourEarsOn.com. Every week, we allow Scooty to dive into the pool that is the internet and find something that's ridiculous at the bottom of it. And we like to call it, I can't believe my ears. What do you got for us this week, Scooty?
Well, fellas, would you say that either of you have a green thumb?
I do.
No.
I absolutely have a green thumb. Yeah, I can grow things.
Okay, so you can grow things.
I have a
with
garden
plants.
every year. I have a nice garden in my backyard. Grow some, tomatoes and.
How about house plants? Do you guys have house plants in your house?
A couple.
Yes.
We do not. We are not houseplant people.
Okay.
Well, and I'm impressed that Guido I would love to have a garden. I think that's cool. I have some friends that keep a garden every year, but for me personally, that would be a big problem. I would probably not have a bounty to harvest. Rather, I would just have a bunch of wilted plants.
So
I think
probably. when you buy house plants, how do you choose them? Do you have a certain variety of plant you like, or is it just by the do you research it beforehand? Is it something that catches your eye in the store?
It's usually when somebody gives us a gift of a house plant. So it's usually like, hey, this person got us a plant of some sort that we now have to try to keep alive.
I totally agree. Yes.
I
feel like that's my experience too.
Good answer. Are either of you friends with a lady named Kweng Young Lee?
Not
I don't
bells.
think so. No, not that I'm aware of.
So you're not not Kweng Young. Maybe you are friends with this person. Wen King Lee.
Nope, not
Wen
that
King
not
Lee?
that person either.
She's 38 years old.
No,
Still not placing it.
From New Zealand.
No.
Who was recently sentenced for committing a crime.
Oh no.
When she was caught smuggling 947 plants strapped to her body. Mostly of the cactus and variety.
What?
The cactus variety?
Yeah. Ouch.
Yes. She, in 2019, tried to smuggle 947 cacti and succulents. Of course.
Into where?
Into New Zealand from China.
Okay. Okay. I see.
I'm sure you're very familiar with biosecurity laws.
Sure.
Of course.
we
I mean,
are.
aren't we all?
Yeah,
Aren't we
She
all?
broke many of those.
Okay.
And she was sentenced to intensive supervision for 12 months and 100 hours of community work. These 947 plants were valued at $10,000. 8 of the cacti were endangered and threatened species. And she tried to dispose, I don't know which is worse. She carried them in, or she tried to dispose the items in the airport toilets.
Oh, come on.
Attracting the attention of a detector dog. Like, if you're the cop,
I thought maybe she attracted the attention of the airport.
Just hit on.
I was afraid she attracted the attention of the airport janitor clogging up the toilets with all those plants.
I mean, but like when the dog hits on the toilets, are you thinking like, prescription pills or crack or marijuana?
Well, and if you get
not
questioned,
cactus?
Yeah, if you get questioned and then like if someone's like, "Yo, what did you do to the toilet?" and you say you dropped your succulents in there, then do you think the janitor is like, you call your poo the succulents? Like, is that what we're talking about right now, or do you like what's going on here, crazy person?
Don't mind this toilet. It's just a prickly pear down it right now. There's a little.
Yes.
What if I told you this wasn't the first time she was caught?
So she's a repeat offender of this.
Yes. In a separate incident, she was found in possession of 142 seeds hidden in packaged iPad covers in her luggage.
Well, I didn't realize that this was a thing. So apparently this is a thing people try to do. I guess there's money that can be had from these rare plants, I guess, that aren't in rare to New Zealand.
She's like, is she like, Scooty, is she like
this
the cartel of cacti? Is that what she is? Like,
yeah, like how does this work?
Well, apparently she was, according to the authorities, she was a seller and trader of succulents on Trade Me, which is a similar website to Craigslist.
Okay.
So she makes money off of selling these succulents and cacti.
Well, and can I just add, Guido, like when Scoot rolled out that dollar figure, I expected it to be maybe millions or something, like 10 grand. This is a lot of trouble for 10 grand,
like
right?
what, 10
I mean,
bucks?
Yo, I don't want. I was gonna say I don't like. I don't know. Certain types of material that are made to be on me, like spandexy stuff. Not my favorite. Rayon, not a great fabric.
How do you feel about
like seriously? Like, and I'm Italian, so I'm hairy enough. That's like Velcro. Like, come on. I'm stuck in cacti for days.
And here's the other thing. I'm a big guy. Like, I'll admit it. I'm a big guy. I don't think I could fit 100+ cacti taped to my body anywhere. Like that's you look like a walking cactus. You would look like.
How long would it take for you to tape cacti to your body safely?
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never tried.
Like you're sitting down. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't dare move. How do you move?
You got to sit on a plane wearing that. Like you got to sit. You got to sit down.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, there's got to be a better way.
I don't know. Can't you just like put them in a box and ship them and mark it like?
I would think yes.
Fragile.
I mean,
yeah, I would risk the mail penalty, like the shipping mail through the mail penalties before I would do something like this.
Well, and like Johnson said, like when you first, and I thought, oh, it's gonna be like $1 million worth of like extremely rare
10
plants.
grand.
No, 10 grand, like 10. That's like $10 a plant, $12 a plant. Like, come on, lady. There's got to be a better way to put them in the suitcase. Like, at least if it gets caught in the suitcase, like whatever, it's like you got them taped to yourself. Like, really?
Like what? I didn't see a picture, but I would love to see what she looked like. Like, she's got to look ridiculous. Like, where do you put them in your armpits? Like, how do you? I mean, what do you do with these things?
Right? That's frightening.
That's like. Do you tell somebody, can you please put my suitcase in the overhead? Because I can't raise my arms due to the cacti I have. I've got 4 cacti I'm trying to keep in my pit.
Are they,
every move you make, you're just like in agony. You're just
like, do you think she's leaving a trail? Like they fall out of her pants and stuff? Like it's like, I'll be honest. If she's walking and something falls out of her pants, cactus is the last thing I'm thinking.
Excuse me, ma'am.
I'm probably thinking of poop.
I think you
probably dropped a turd. I was like, what is going on? Oh, that's not a turd. It's just a prickly cactus. Oh,
no, it's just a succulent.
Yeah.
Just a succulent.
It's just, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's frightening and ridiculous. That is a top 5 ridiculous all-time. Got your ears on. Can't believe my ears, Scoot. I'm impressed. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Next time I see some.
Hey, listen. I'm just gonna say, if you have thoughts of going to New Zealand, and you're gonna bring like a housewarming gift to somebody, you better think twice about bringing plants.
I was gonna say next time I see a small lady walking on the plane, kind of awkwardly screaming as she does, I'll be like, "Hey, are you smuggling?"
Yeah, very apprehensive. Yeah.
Cacti?
My luck, she'd sit next to me. If it's Southwest and you seat yourself, I got succulent lady next to me. And she probably
Absolutely.
falls asleep on me and I'm getting pricked.
All right, well, listen, guys, we should probably wrap it up. Don't forget, West Virginia University plays this Saturday against Texas in Austin at the Irwin Center. That's a 3 p.m. game on ABC, so check it out. West Virginia University right now is currently 14-6 overall with 7-4 in the conference, and we're now in, third place in the Big 12, so... Keep going online to our website, gotyourearson.com. Buy those Pullover Guy t-shirts on sale right now. $5 for every t-shirt or sweatshirt that's sold goes to the Bob Huggins Fish Fry and the Norma Ray Huggins Foundation. So pick them up. You got a week and a half left to order those shirts. That's at gotyourearson.com, the Pullover Guy t-shirts. Thanks for everybody who supported us on that. We've raised over $500. Super excited about it. Well, guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, find us on Instagram and Twitter at Got Your Ears On. And everybody have a good week and go Mountaineers. You've been listening to Got Your Ears On.